wife June, they being portrayed by Phil Collins and Julie Walters. Now, there are those misguided people, no doubt, who believe that simply because he took part in a £2.5 million train robbery, during the course of which the engine driver was violently assaulted, Buster was some kind of a villain. The film, however, is swift to point out the laughable fallacy of such thinking. Buster? A villain? No, not old Buster. A big kid, that's all, never really grew up. Doesn't quite know the difference between right and wrong. You can't call him a villain. You can't really call any of them villains. Not even good old Bruce Reynolds, played by Larry Lamb, who seemed to be the leader of the gang. I mean, you'll never believe where this lovely bunch of likely lads actually planned the crime of the century.
Ain't no one licked stuff off a train before, Bruce. Not big stuff, not like this.
I know that, Harry. So we're going to have a trial run or what?
Yeah, but not on the main line. Got to steer clear of the Royal Mail run. The best time to take it is after the bank holiday weekend. So that way, there's plenty of time to practice elsewhere.
What, practice?
Yeah, practice. You're going into training. It's going to be like the Olympics. By the time we're through, we'll be able to lift any amount of cash off any train, anywhere.
Fantastic, eh? All right, so what's the plan then?
Well, first off, we're going to need some help.
What sort of help?
Expert help. Well, none of us have ever stopped the train before, have we? Not to rob it.
That's easy, just pull a communication call.
No, it doesn't work like that. It takes too long for them to shut the brakes down. Besides, you can never judge accurately where the train's going to stop.
So?
So I want to bring George's lot in.
No. He's an arsehole.
He's not an arsehole, Larry. He's just a smug little bastard. But he knows how to do it. And we can't just wing it when there's £1 million at stake, right? We got to know exactly where the train is going to stop.
Come on. How'd it go, Nicky?
Round you go, round you go. Hey,
give it a
go
push.
On. Push, 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 push. Push.
Not too fast.
That's it. Look, I don't like it. It's unlucky working with another firm. And then there's the split. There's bound to be arguments. Let's do the trial run first and see if it works.
Well, if it doesn't, I'm going to call George the next day.
I still say he's an arsehole.
Ah, just look at them, sucking their ice lollies and giving the little kid a ride. Bless them. But none of them is quite as lovely as Buster. Take that time June's expecting a baby. What does old Buster do? Why, he goes straight down to the local branch of Mother Care or whatever with his little shopping list and gets all the nappies and layettes and feeding bottles and everything. Well, no, he doesn't actually go in through the door during shopping hours as you and I would. He breaks in at night and steals the stuff, but that's why he's lovable and we're not. And June's ever so chuffed. Oh, Buster, she says, laughing at his funny little ways. Do you begin to get the point? Right, so let's leave all this for a bit and recap on the actual robbery. It happened in 1963 and fascinated the entire country, partly because the gang stopped and robbed a train, and that doesn't happen every day, and partly because the money they stole was about to be destroyed anyway, so nobody seemed to be the loser, except the engine driver, who was seriously hurt, a fact which the film glosses over quite shamelessly. So what Buster and Reynolds and Ronnie Biggs and the rest actually committed was robbery with violence. It was therefore hardly surprising when Prince Charles and Princess Diana changed their minds about attending the premiere of a film which has been accused of glorifying crime. And you may ask whether that's the sort of thing the cinema should be doing in the first place. We brought together two of the main protagonists, Buster Edwards himself and retired Detective Chief Superintendent Jack Slipper of Scotland Yard, who's been involved with the case since 1963.
No. I tell you what, they gave me this opportunity to have a word with you. I thought I'd take it, Buster. I'll tell you what, I've seen you interviewed so many times. You just wrote down that question of the driver as though it was nothing. What made you speak like that?
Well, Jack, honestly, I mean, you know, the police used Jack Mills. I feel sorry for Jack Mills as much as the way the police used him. They had to justify the 30-year sentences. They couldn't justify it through nicking money from a train, so they used Mr. Mills as the lever.
Well, man, let's get this thing moving. Anyone got a light?
Just imagine you're the son of that driver, which has been glossed over on that film I've just seen. That driver wasn't a lazy man. He'd worked all his life and been a railway driver for many years. Never worked another day's work after that.
Don't remember anything after the first blow. I sank to my knees, and the next thing I remember, I was on my knees on the floor. And the footplate had filled with all bandits then.
Get this thing moving. Make it.
I was told to get in my driving seat, take the train forward and not look up. And they said, you must take the train forward to a given point, and we should shout stop. You must stop, or else you'll get some more.
I mean, this man,
he was hit over the head. He had a scalp wound which had 3 to 5 stitches. I'm not certain what it was. And next day, or the day after, I mean, he was up and about. I mean, this thing about the media saying horrific damage and the way he was smashed to the ground is completely untrue.
Buster is one of a number of films that turn real crimes into entertainment. Ronnie Biggs is the hero of Prisoner of Rio, which opens next month. Gary and Martin Kemp of Spandau Ballet will star as the notorious gangsters Reggie and Ronnie Kray in a film called The Krays.
The media have been glamorising the train robbers since 1963, and it's got worse and worse.
Queen, eh?
Here we go, got mine.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas indeed, yeah.
Merry Christmas to you, darling.
The Queen, God bless her. Yeah. Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Only one thing wrong with Her Majesty, though? That's her bleeding prison, isn't it?
I'm very, very royal, so nicking the Queen's money really wasn't very nice.
Can you put your hand on your heart and say that if you had life again, knowing all what you know now about life, you would go into a life of crime as a professional villain?
Jack, with my hand on my heart, I swear I would.
You would?
Oh, yeah.
You
I really,
amaze me.
No, honestly, seriously.
You amaze
Honestly,
me.
I really mean it. I do. I've been shot down so many times about it, so I shouldn't say it again, but I do miss that life. I really do. You've got to miss it. Well, you don't,
I
because
miss
you're
the
only
squad,
so much
of course
dough now. You don't
must
miss
be
the squad.
joking.
No, but I mean, you must miss the squad.
I do. I miss the work. Oh, yeah, I love the work. You know, I was amongst it for many years down in South London. But,
Yeah, you're South London face.
Well, exactly. But the thing is, I knew what side. I could go to bed, put my head on the pillow, and if the bell rang, I could open the door.
That's true. Yeah,
That's the difference,
I used to
isn't
jump through the window.
Jack Slipper and Buster Edwards, and not, as you may have supposed, Peter Cook and Dudley Moore. And so from Buster the Man back to Buster the movie. Eventually, Buster and June joined Bruce Reynolds and his wife Franny, played by Stephanie Lawrence, in Mexico. "This is what we worked all them years for," says Buster. That's how Buster robs and steals and calls it working. You have to laugh, don't you? But June doesn't like it in Mexico, all those people talking foreign and the kind of food you never see in Tesco's.
Cheers. Ow, ow. They put salt in the bastard.
They're supposed to put salt in the bastard. The idea is you sip it slowly over the salt rim. Pauillac 53, Miguel.
Si, Senor Demo.
It's from the Mouton Rothschild Chateau. It's got a lovely bouquet. You all right now, Buster?
Yeah, of course I am, yeah. Stupid bleeding wetters that make me puke. Good job they don't speak no English, though, innit, eh? And that right, Pancho?
Would the senor care for some McEwan's export? It is unchilled, but the cellar temperature is quite cool.
Very good, Miguel.
What are we going to have to eat, Buster?
I don't know, you choose, sonny.
Right, the tortillas are fab. They may be a bit spicy for you. I just want some steak and chips. You're in Acapulco, June. You don't have steak and chips in Acapulco. Yeah, well, I like steak and chips. It's all I want. It's not often we've been able to afford it. I've got some steak in the fridge. If you want to share it, you can come with me.
June. June. Come on, darling.
So June flies home with their daughter, and Buster misses them both so much that he goes home too and nobly gives himself up. Cynics might claim that the fact that he'd been so extensively ripped off by so-called helpers that he was practically Boracic could have had something to do with that decision. But perish the thought, it was love that took him back to pay his debt to society. For that's what the film calls itself, a love story, and not a movie about crime at all. And in a sense, it is a love story, but a highly selective one, which ignores all the other colours of the spectrum and dips its brush only in the whitewash. It doesn't exactly glorify crime, but it certainly romanticises it. There are moments when you get the impression that, were it not for their trifling oversight in omitting to distribute their ill-gotten gains among the deserving poor, the train robbers were just like Robin Hood and his merry men. And Buster and June emerge ever so sweet and touching, only a pair of tarnished innocents, really. But fair dues, though the film itself may be amoral and even deplorable in its neglect of the act of violence, the performances are very good. In particular, Phil Collins and Julie Walters are so good that with a better script, they might have made you wonder what all the fuss was about. As it is, I think the fuss was really justified. Buster Edwards has served his time and is now earning an honest living. He may even be as likeable as the film suggests. But he's not a hero, and never was one, and he shouldn't be portrayed as one. But now,